Hey guys, how's it going? This is Brennan Bias from ShootCheck.com, and welcome to another Tutorial Tuesday. Wait a second, it's not Tuesday, it's Wednesday. Wow, I've been slacking lately. What's wrong with me? Oh wait, I know what's wrong with me. I've been busy with college. College started, and along with that, I've been kind of lazy and not coming up with ideas for Tutorial Tuesday. So I admit I've been slacking, I apologize, and so as a result of that, today's tutorial is going to be pretty simple, but I promise you next week is going to be a lot more interesting. So if you want to get a sneak peek at next week's tutorial, just go to the Facebook page link in the description, or I should say that a little bit better. It's a link to our Facebook page where I posted that little demonstration of what I hope to accomplish in next week's tutorial. But in the meantime, we're going to keep things a little bit simpler than what you see on that page. So as you recall, 3 weeks ago, I made a tutorial on this effect right here, which is the 3D glass prism art, or I don't remember how I phrased the actual title, but this is what I showed you guys, and essentially all I showed you how to make was the glass prisms here themselves. I didn't show you how to make the text itself because admittedly it's really easy to do, and I thought that you guys would be able to figure it out on your own, but apparently it needs some explanation, so that's what we're going to be going over. Now because this was demonstrated in the 3D glass prism tutorial, I'm just going to do this tutorial as if it's just immediately continuing off that previous tutorial. So I'm actually going to work with this pre-created workspace that I worked on just to speed up the overall tutorial and to kind of help out the people that wanted to make this text along with the existing glass that they had just made. So let's just go ahead and get right into this. Now unfortunately I can't just delete this text to work with, but I can just click that little icon to turn it off. And so that way we can just kind of, make believe that that was never there. So to make the text, we'll just grab our text tool by hitting the letter T, and we will click somewhere next to the triangles and such to make our little text layer here. And as for the font style, I honestly do not remember what font that I used in the demonstration. So just for the time being, I'm going to stick to Helvetica New. And unfortunately, I can't give you this font, so you'll either have to use a different font or download this one yourselves. And if you do use this one, I'm using the 57 condensed version of it. And the font size doesn't really matter for the time being, but we do want to make sure that the color is set to black, okay? So let's go ahead and type out, let's hit the caps lock, so Prism Art, like so. And to scale this up, we'll hold the Control key with all this text still being typed out and all that, and we can click and drag this up and to the right while holding the Shift key to scale it up. And by the way, to show this this bounding box on a Mac, you would hold the Command key instead of the Control key. Just a quick little pro tip there. And also to fit the same style as before, let's select the art portion of the text, and we'll go up to the letter T next to the font size and click and drag that to the left to go ahead and scale down that font there until it looks like it's a pretty good size. I might actually scale that up just a little bit. And so once you've got this as a pretty decent size that you like, just hit the little check mark at the top there to commit all that text there. And so now we'll just go to 3D, and we'll do a new 3D extrusion from the selected layer, and that will go ahead and just extrude that text for you in a pretty simple manner. And let's go back to our layers panel over here, and let's go ahead and select both the Prism Art and the Prisms layers there, and we'll merge those together by hitting Control E or Command E if you happen to be on a Mac, and that will merge the text into the existing glass scene that we have going on over here. And so now we'll just go ahead and select the third icon up here, which is drag the 3D object, just because I like having little crosshairs, and we will go back to the 3D panel. And let's go to the Prism Art layer group and open that up, and then we can select the Prism Art object itself. And if you want to, you can just kind of put down the extrusion depth to maybe somewhere, that actually does that a lot faster than I thought. So maybe somewhere in the 90s, I don't really care. It doesn't really matter what the extrusion depth is, but you can mess with that as you so choose. But what we do want to do is mess with the rotation and the overall position of the art here. So let's go ahead and move it along the x-axis to the right a little bit, so that way we can see a little bit better. And let's go ahead and move this a little bit closer towards us with that z-axis thing. It's kind of hard to notice. And let's also rotate it a little bit so that way it's more along the lines of the green prism there. And so then once again I'll go ahead and move it a little bit more forward on the z-axis there. If you watched my previous tutorial on the glass prism, there was a pretty good explanation on how all of these work. So hopefully that will give you an idea of how to actually go about doing that. And also if you want to mess with the scale, you'll see we have this little white box in the middle of the crosshairs, I guess you could call them. And if you click and drag on that downwards, that will scale down the text for you. And that actually kind of changed everything up, so I will bring that back over there. Maybe bring it up off the ground plane a little bit to make things a little bit more interesting. And I don't know, just kind of play with these settings until you get something that looks, you know, pretty interesting and all that. And so now once you've got that in a good position, just go over to the Prism Art group, or the object I should say, and open that up to see all of the inflation materials and all that. And the first thing we're going to do is go to the front inflation material, and we're going to change the opacity of that to roughly, let's go about roughly 50%. And then next we'll go to the extrusion material, and we'll change the opacity of that to about, let's say, closer to the 25% range. And then we will go to the back inflation material and change that to maybe more around the 75% range. And so if you want to add a little bit more onto this, let's go ahead and select the back inflation, the extrusion, and the front inflation materials all at the same time. And we'll change the refraction to between 1.7 and 1.8. And that should really be all there is to this. So let's go ahead and click the render icon to go through this, and let's just see how it looks. Okay, so now that I've let this render for a little while, I'm just going to go ahead and click somewhere to interrupt that that rendering process. And now we'll just hit Control H or Command H if you're on a Mac to hide all of the extra 3D options and the grid and all that you see going on, just to kind of get a look at what we have going on here. Now, it's not exactly the same effects as what I showed earlier, so it seems. So, I mean, but it's pretty close. Those are the exact same settings that I had originally used. I'm just using a slightly different font, and it's a slightly different size and all that. So just kind of tweak with the opacity of the extrusion material, because it looks like the extrusion material is still a little too dark over here or something like that. And just go back through, tweak with the settings until you get something that looks pretty good. I'm not going to go too in depth because that's really all I did was changing the opacity of the different materials and all that, and it takes a little while to render, so it'd be kind of redundant to, you know, go back through and you know, mess around with the settings for the entire rest of the tutorial. So that's essentially all there is to making this semi-transparent glassy text along with the 3D prisms and all that. So I apologize if I went through this a little bit fast. I am just trying to get this out of the way for the day because it's getting kind of late already. It's already 1:30 and I'm late enough as it is. So I just went through this pretty quick since it's pretty simple and all that. If you have any questions, just let me know. Leave a comment in the comment section below. And if you know, just want to show your appreciation, just like this video. You know, it makes me feel good and makes me know that you guys appreciate the time I put into this, you know, without charging you guys any money. You know, I'm not asking any money from you ever, unless you want to donate. That'd be nice. I'm just kidding. But anyway, I've got some, you know, probably some school stuff that I need to get to and work and all that. So I'm just going to call it good for today, and I will hopefully see you guys next Tuesday. Peace out.